Hello and welcome back to F1 Manager 24 here in our second season of the Creator Team mode, and I have got to the bottom of the missing F2 and F3 results. In the previous one we couldn't find the relevant result that seemingly Taylor Barnard had won. It's because it's here. So the F2 races still happened at Melbourne, Sakir and Imola, but the result is in the equivalent race slot on the real calendar. So Imola was 7th, so it's where Silverstone is here for some reason. I don't know why changing the calendar would have broken this, because obviously the 10 races that F3 do have rearranged themselves accordingly as well, because Melbourne is before Bahrain. So they have rearranged themselves accordingly to the new calendar. I don't know why that would break putting the result in where they should be. Actually, looking through the ones that are yet to happen or haven't got a result when they've apparently happened, they actually just appear to just say the first 10 races of the season. So I don't know if this is a problem in general. This could actually be a problem before. Someone will have to check. I don't have a fresh shave I can look at, but this might actually genuinely be a problem because it's literally just the first 10 Formula 1 races listed on this right-hand side. It's the same situation in F2, by the way. There's Beganovic's second place, which happened in Saudi Arabia. Barnard did the full sweep, actually. He got the victory and the sprint victory. However, it does seem Rafael Villagomez is the one to beat here. He's won the other two in Bahrain and Australia. So, mystery solved. Nothing else to click through here because we're on the day of Monaco, so I'll see you for qualifying there. I didn't see what happened, but I saw the aftermath. Zane Maloney either took out or was taken out by a Red Bull during practice 3, which means didn't quite get 100%. Close, but not quite. I don't even know which Red Bull it was. Does mean we are running a little thin on chassis, but we do have the new one that is going to be manufactured from here, so it'll be a gradual change out from the second spec to third spec. Anyway, just could have done with not breaking one of the second specs. Monaco being a short lap means there's not a huge margin of error. Maloney and Porsche, for that matter, have put in really solid laps. I don't know about the evolution of this particular track, and I don't know if Maloney's still in danger. The fact that Porsche is ahead makes me feel like there's a lot more that can get through. In fact, he's already been pushed down a place before we get going with Mick. We'll watch Mick go around and hope that he actually gets out of Q1. He's got to find minimum 3/10, but I feel like Hamilton will go faster than Magnussen. So ideally, if you can find half a second to get the Ailing Ferrari, that would be nice. Somehow he's not got his tyres up to temperature when Maloney's like 10 degrees higher and he's only one corner ahead of him. What? How has that worked? There's going to be traffic in the tunnel, which could be prime problematic. No, okay, we're okay. Slightly more worried we'll catch him here, which we did with the Haas, which I thought was actually on a flying lap, because I swear that RB moved out of the way for the Haas as well. I don't know what's going on there. That might be Porsche already having completed a lap. How are we actually doing here? Worse with Maloney, better with Mick. Well, at least the right person is going faster. Not a guarantee. Mick Schumacher. Holy flip, Mick Schumacher. Well, we got the half a second we wanted for Hauger. We also got another further 4/10 on top of that. And everyone else is actually done. So Hauger and Tsunoda, for that matter, survived by the skin of their teeth, really. I think other people did their laps a lot earlier there. Pushes Kevin out. All right, Mick, we'll pay attention to you going forward. Clearly there was a problem on your original lap. Clean banker laps, and once again Mick is half a second down on his teammate. Of course, track position matters so much more here. It's still weirdly easy to overtake at Monaco. We are ruining this Alpine's lap. Norris, I do apologise. Really struggling to get tyre temperature in. Even though the track's 40 degrees, the air temperature, I say, is only 22. That's still quite nice, temperature-wise. We're really struggling to get tyre temp in this time. Mick even, once again, more so than Maloney. But we're going to get there eventually, not too far into the lap. This is from pushing from immediately. We'll stay on board with Mick because, once again, he's the one more in danger. I feel like he's got a clearer lap. I don't know who ahead has finished. I feel like most of them have, because I feel like there's such a staggered order. Hauger's done a much better lap, I should just notice, this time around as well. 7th for him, currently. That vehicle gets out of the way quite nicely. It's the Haas of Porsche, who seemingly done, and, well, if Mick improves, will be last. Drogovic complete and definitely out. Only need half a tenth to get Maloney past Verstappen again. Fittipaldi puts some wiggle room in there. Maloney doesn't go faster. He's definitely out. But his Mickey came with some magic in Q1. Can he find that second, basically, that he found first time around? No. For whatever reason, Mick can't do it. I don't understand, Mick. What happened? What was the difference there? Those were used tyres as well, the original lap. No excuse not to go faster there. Carlos Sainz pips the McLarens to pole, and it's Ricciardo from Piastri as well, which is big news for them. Yeah, Mick 6/10 slower than he was in Q1. I mean, the good news is he still wouldn't have made Q3 with that Q1 time, but he would have been 11th, and that would have been a much better start. Oh yeah, we will have a free soft here, but as Crofty stated, qualifying does matter here, obviously more than most. I don't know if I want to go aggressive early, really. Do have two mediums. I don't know why you wouldn't do two mediums. How is that faster? That would be the fastest apparently. Soft, aggressive, medium, and then another medium. And one stop at Monaco does work, but the problem with F1 Manager is that the two stop is actually faster here, and you can get past people. You shouldn't be able to, but you can if you've got the differential. So from 16th is not the worst idea. Meanwhile, Maloney, like he says that's faster, but he'd get an undercut and stay ahead. 1 second faster to do it that way, and I'd prefer to have the earlier pit stop. Incidents likely at Monaco, of course, so hefty underfueling. Let's get going.
Well then, it's not long until we get started here, and we should be in for a tightly contested race. The anticipation and excitement may be building up, but there's a cool head on Carlos Sainz.
They've got a fantastic opportunity starting on pole, but can they carry it through to the end?
Here we go. It's time to go racing. It's time for one of the most exciting races in the world. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Indeed. Let's see if we... Oh, Maloney. Sorry, Maloney says 9th. You started 11th. What's happened here, Maloney? Who's gone backwards? Or does someone have a penalty? I feel like Tsunoda was in the top 10 originally, and I've just missed the fact that he was relegated. There's no way that Tsunoda's managed to lose 5 places at Monaco off the line. So actually Maloney in a much better position than we thought he would be, because starting 10th, if he can hold on to it, unlike Mick, who has gone backwards. A couple of people starting on softs, most people presumably do medium to hard, but AI tends to do two-stop here as well. So I don't know what the two-stop variant is that they're running, if some of them are doing that. First lap's a little bit undramatic, thankfully, really, for our drivers, but Mick is being held up by Magnussen. That is for certain. Problem is, I believe this hold-up is actually going to end up being Norris, actually, in the Alpine. Although Hulkenberg might take things into his own hands in sorting this out. It's just a lock-up, unfortunately, for him. He is having a rotten season. Yeah. I had almost forgotten about that. Different here. Please fix that. For the love of God. If anything needed fixing, it was that. Right, Mick, I really need you to challenge Kevin here. I was too busy fiddling with... Oh, wow. That's how he did it. What? I was too busy fiddling with Maloney's settings. I left Mick to be aggressive. He's actually completely used his DRS now. But, all right, so that's Mick through Magnussen, which is the big one, really, because he's another soft runner. He actually pushed his softs to say, don't you dare let him immediately back through, Mick. I give up. I give up. How come you couldn't do that with DRS, Mick? Mick Schumacher has got Kevin back eventually, this time going up the hill where the incident happened. I think what happened in practice is I think because obviously we run practice on the most conservative of his own regard. Yeah, he's just driven into a wall for no apparent reason. I was about to send him on aggressive overtakes. I'm glad I didn't. Front wing is terminal, so we don't have any more front wings, so if you balls this one up, we'll go medium in case there's a safety car later on. I was going to conserve some of that fuel now, Mick. Well, there's nobody around you. At some point, Maloney got Hauger, but I never got that replay. Oh, I missed it, obviously. And Hauger can't keep up with Maloney either, so that's even better. Ultimately, he's so depressed that he can't keep up with the ACGP car that he's decided to absolutely bin it. A lot of people queuing up behind him, but Maloney currently clear of Albon, so we'll do a smidge of harvest. And that's now too close for comfort. Can't do anything about it. I have to recover at some point. We can just make 2 mediums work. Yeah, and that would be faster. On the assumption that he will get lapped, we will maybe go as early as possible. A few people grabbing mechanical faults, including Hulkenberg, who's just pitted and come out behind Mick, as Albon does finally get Zane. He's running still. He is running with him still and not being dropped for the time being, but we need to recover fuel because we're not actually getting safety cars. We're getting incidents and mechanical faults, but nothing that would actually recover fuel. It's weird how much time Mick lost from that front wing situation, because he's still 20 seconds basically behind Magnussen, who was the one he was with at that point in time. Pop in some good laps there, Zane, if you can. That one's pitted. I realised why Mick may have been so far behind Magnussen is partially lapping, I think. I'll assume that's enough to get Mick to the end of the race on the basis that he is lapped by basically everyone, because we're now going to have the knock-on effect of originally being lapped and he's just going to have to let everyone through. I think that's Norris immediately behind Mick, so he's just going to have this constant knock-on effect of being lapped. Good pit stop though. That might help us. There's still hard runners in that top 10, namely Porsche actually. That's the only one that really matters here. So one hard runner still in that top 10 to vacate his position, as Djokovic has a mechanical fault that takes him fully out. Mick won't be. Oh, of course, yes. If we can get 18th, that would be great. Whatever Hulkenberg's strategy is, it's going to require them to pit again. Same with Magnussen, which means Mick does kind of have a stranglehold on 20th because Hulkenberg's now going to be way out. Although Sonoda's out as well, so that's 19th. I mean, a fair amount's happening here, but none of it is actually highlights. The one thing that is important is here. Maloney's got through Porsche, actually, which I didn't see. And now Porsche is pitted. So Maloney might have a very comfortable 10th place here, off the back of RB and Aston having a problem. I say a comfortable 10th as well. Maloney is getting closer to Albon in these last few laps. Except I do need to recover fuel, I think. He's about to be lapped, actually, but I don't know how much one lap is here. I know it's not going to be a lot. So I feel like we're going to need to get at least to -1 just to feel safe about this. So as close as we were getting to Albon, that's now going to be completely evaporated because, oh no, mind you, he's being lapped too. Oh, Sainz is out. So that's the big one. Porsche is getting ever closer, but I think that's because we're being lapped and he isn't at this current point in time. Gasly is on Mick Schumacher's back, but he will get 18th. Now, thanks to those retirements, Hauger could go as well, of course. I am concerned by Porsche, actually. I think Maloney has lapped the Williamses, but the Williamses want to get back through Maloney because they're on better tyres. Mick currently up to 16th, but Sargent has just pitted onto a soft. This is why Maloney's losing time, is because he's being overtaken by Kevin and then re-overtaking him. That'll be enough because we have been lapped. Yeah, so Sargent will get back through Mick. There he goes. Who has crashed? Porsche has a warning sign. Oh, Porsche, you were going to get 10th there, mate. Leclerc has a mechanical fault. That's not what... It's Porsche or Sandevot. No heroics into Sandevot, Porsche. Oh, he's actually smashed the inside. Outside. I've not seen that one before. Teo Porsche are inventing new ways to crash. And that saves Maloney's 9th, as it is thanks to Sainz retiring. Just going to throw it out there. That's Albon. We are 3 seconds behind him still. If we get a bit of a push here, he's on much worse hard tyres. If we make a bit of a push, get past Kevin again, pointless, the most pointless unlapping in history, actually get ourselves DRS in the process. Superb racecraft from Zane Maloney in these dying laps to only put us 2 seconds behind Albon. Battle assist I've left on by accident, so we'll leave that on for when he does get close. Mick's doing a decent job keeping Gasly at bay. I mean, I know he's in a... Sorry, is this about to be 3 laps down? It is about to be 3 laps down. Deploy now, Mick. Deploy now, Mick. Get Gasly well out of your range. Let him succumb to that McLaren and then just drive away, please. You're already 2 laps down, so we can push the fuel. 2 laps to go. Just don't have the Ignominy being lapped 3 times. This isn't too bad. I feel like this is better than it was before. Like, we've only lapped up to Albon, which is kind of expected, considering the ones that are out. The only ones unlapped are the other top 4 teams. 5 teams, sorry. Bottas exists. Feels about right. And the only ones getting lapped 3 times are the absolute back markers in Hulkenberg and a broken Haas and the kickstart. But Mick obviously having an early problem has caused the rippling effect. But so he's much further down than he should be in a race like this. I'll keep Mick deploying on this final lap just so he doesn't get lapped a 3rd time, because Piastri needs to go around 1 more time. I feel sorry for Sainz. He started on pole, I just remembered. I don't know where it was when he retired. I wasn't paying too much attention. Speaking of paying too much attention, it's final lap. It's final lap for Maloney. He hasn't really made that much of an inroad on Albon in the couple of laps he's had available to him. I don't know if Albon's being dragged by Leclerc. There's not a huge gap there. I almost want to go on aggressive overtake, but at the same time, as much as I would love 4 points and beat Albon, I would dearly love 2 points more. He's effectively got 1 opportunity, and it's here. On the inside, interesting. That's the mechanical fault for Aaron. That's not what I was looking for. Now, can I have the replay? Can I have the replay? No, that's race winner. Okay, we're not getting the replay. Maloney overtaking Albon there. Sure, whatever. Oh, Mick got on the back of Aaron. He is 2 laps down, so I think he would need like -2, and there is the race winner actually there. So Maloney does get 4 points. We love to see it. It really doesn't matter, Mick, but let's just go for it anyway. Yeah, you had one shot there, really, Mick. Aaron has a fault, and 27% tyres. Porsche entered that race with 25. He does have bad. One thing I did look into, by the way, the Haas itself has terrible tyre preservation. It is the worst. It is the worst vehicle for tyre preservation, which I think is what's holding Hulkenberg back as well. Aaron holds on, but still, we get the payout, which is all that really matters if you're not going to challenge the top 10. It's points. No, why do they always do the first? Why is my engineer? Why was my engineer there? It's Piastri's to lose this season, it feels like, with Carlos Sainz retiring there. I tell you what, it is weird seeing Daniel Ricciardo back in a McLaren too. It's the first time I've actually seen a podium with him on it, I think. I often skip him at the end, but this is Monaco, so I'm giving it its due. Yeah, one of the rare times a mixed bag is the accurate response. The worst part is, Mick had a brand new part on, and I think he damaged that part. So we're back to square one. We're saying up 3 places in Monaco. I mean, Teo Porsche up 5 is 1 part Carlos Sainz, but he out-qualified Djokovic and was ahead of Tsunoda because of a penalty, I think, anyway. So he's earned 2 of those places himself, Albon being one of them. Oh no, this actually has him starting 11th. Crucially, Oscar Piastri actually regains the lead. I didn't realise he'd lost it last race. Daniel Ricciardo gained some points to keep himself in this fight a little bit more than he was before. So Maloney gets 4 points, and Teo Porsche gets 1 for Haas, of course, as well here. So mixed down places. It's not even being the best of the resters. That's Lando, which is unsurprising. Logan Sargent actually goes up a few places off the back of his finish, as does Kevin Magnussen. But Djokovic is actually down places, as Zayn Maloney gets him. Djokovic only has 4 points. Bottas has 95. What is going on? I know the ratings are obviously in Bottas' favour, but that is incredible. I can actually get Ferrari, despite Leclerc podium. We hold on to 7th because we were the best of the best before, and now we actually have points. Haas game 1 to go not pointless as well. Alpine, Williams and Kick Sauber, the only 3 that are left. Now, despite mixed race there, I think he did have a really good pit stop in it. He did. 4th, which gives us a nice few points. We're still holding on mid-table here. We'll take that. It was anything worthwhile in his entire race, pretty much. That and the fact he still finished 18th or higher. I'm so glad that's our race target because it's so easily achievable, particularly if people don't finish. Hugh Bird is now higher rated and therefore going to be even more unhappy. Although nobody is unhappy now. It was the new side pod I put on, which didn't break. Although I do need more suspensions. Ironically, Mick has higher accuracy now off the back of that result. Zayn Maloney's smoothness and cornering, the 2 things he absolutely doesn't really need more of, have gone up. Thankfully, his reactions are now 71, which is no longer awful. Meanwhile, affiliates-wise, some statistics going up across the boards, including some people improving their weakest attributes, which is nice to see. Villa Gomez once again winning, but Barnard 2nd. And yeah, it's Trident's the ones to beat down here in F2. So where is Monaco then in here? So it should be race 8. There we are. Bogdanovic 4th. Carpentier got points as well in the closest to a home race he's going to get. He is French, by the way. Generally, drivers don't have nationalities, but you can see them in the editor. The full F3 result did have Barnard 2nd, and in the sprint, for that matter. So good points for Barnard, who might be 2nd overall. And we pull him DNFs again. She has been DNFing a fair bit, unfortunately. But that's our development drivers, really. Maloney is enthusiastic. I did wonder if he'd have 100 out of 100 cornering off the back of that. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And 98 smooth. I mean, that's mad. That kind of trio there of cornering, control and smoothness is insane. Makes me actually happy with Monte Carlo. I think that's because obviously we do have the objectives at 18th, so anything better than that is good for our drivers. And what is a major upgrade, the suspension simulator is up to level 2. So that will be immediately used the next time we get an ATR period for the next suspension, which doubles essentially all its effects. Out of curiosity, what does the next one do? So it just adds the same again. So technically only a 50% increase this time around. Do you have a minor issue in the sense that we don't have a huge amount of underfloors at this point in time? Or in fact front wings. We also can't manufacture anything. We're already doing all of the things. We've actually got more of the C3 than we do the C2, so... Alright then, first points of the season secured. Now let's go to Spain. Which actually might work in our favour because we do have good tyre preservation, and this is a very tyre-hungry track. I don't think we should get ahead of ourselves here, but that's P3 in practice 3. It's a good job we didn't get ahead of ourselves, isn't it? Hauger with issues, notably repeated lockups, in a huge amount of danger. Hamilton in danger as well because he just did a very bad lap. Maybe he got caught up in one of those Hauger situations. And Maloney only 12th as well, not a huge amount above the drop. You can see Porsche there 1.4, Maloney 1.2 above. No idea what the others are on. I actually need to push Maloney from here. It's a weirdly, I want to say cold day, but mild for Spanish standards day, which means the tyres are only just getting to temperature as they get to the line. It's very similar to Monaco, really, in that respect. It's not exactly the scorching 30 degree that you kind of get expected in Spain. We'll follow our drivers around in the vain hope they'll actually improve on their first laps. Zayn doing so far. Of course, it could be 1,000th, and we'd never know because we're never supplied with that information. Mick gets round. A slow Ferrari, which I presume has done their lap. That might be Leclerc, who's currently in the lead. It could have been Hauger, actually. It was. Hauger might be done and out with that damage. Limping around and just hindering everyone else. He did that immediately, by the way. He did the damage immediately at the start. He's not just done that. They just haven't replaced it, so whatever it was must have been irreplaceable within a qualifying session. Maloney puts himself up to 8th. That's 6/10 gained on the initial lap. That might just be track evolution. And 7/10 gained by Mick. All of a sudden, we're looking competent. We'll wait for these guys to do their laps, but Albon brings himself up to Mick's level, which you would hope for, frankly, if you were an RB technician. Hamilton only up to 17th. Sargent or Gasly next. It was Gasly. He stays 21st. Aaron stays 20th. Magnussen stayed 19th. Sargent next. Doesn't improve. Hulkenberg doesn't feel like he's on a flyer. Snowden puts himself back above Mick as well. Just Porsche left. Is he done? He is. The usual suspects in the bottom 6. But Maloney qualifies ahead of Fittipaldi in that section. It's P9 again for Maloney as things stand, as Bottas has a lockup this time round. Hauger on an outlap, that is Leclerc done. Apologies if my voice goes over the course of this recording. It wasn't in the best of shapes when I started it, but I couldn't really hold off any longer. Through the first couple of corners here on the Spanish track. We probably ought to switch over. I see Mick's been pushed down to 14th as things stand. Not sure which driver behind has gone ahead. Probably the ones that had... Oh, it would be Leclerc, wasn't he? Because he had a terrible outlap because he had an issue. First lap, sorry. Because he had an issue. Now, Maloney, of course, did a very respectable first set of laps on used tyres. In the same kind of ballpark as the Ferrari of Hauger and Albon, who's just gone marginally faster. But crucially ahead of Tsunoda and Drogovic. And Fittipaldi, but I think Fittipaldi had other problems. Mick has done a faster first sector, which you would hope for, considering the fact that these are brand new tyres. Maloney not so lucky for some strange reason. Will get a toe off the Alpine of Norris. But the line comes fast, unfortunately. It's the start of the lap that benefits from a toe, not the end of the lap. Has been pushed down to 11th by Tsunoda, as Hauger has not improved. But Mick, out of nowhere, slower all weekend, decides to pop his ACGP car 1,000th faster than Albon, which of course would have given him the advantage if it had been equal. 1,000 slower, Albon would have been ahead because he did his lap earlier. Fittipaldi only goes 13th. Both cars faster than the second Red Bull, which is irritatingly up to speed in races. Porsche goes 11th. Hauger yet to finish, but Mick is in Q3 regardless at this point. We'll see if Hauger can displace Albon. He can. In Monaco, Mick only had a side pod. In Spain, both cars are running both the side pod and the chassis. They've got one copy of each, so please don't break them. Have we inched our way into the top 12, which would be make it 14, I suppose? I mean, Porsche's there as well. Let's not overlook that either. Are we about to make this a contested 9th to 14th, rather than us just separated in 13th and 14th, hoping and dreaming of 12th? Doesn't mean Mick's not going to have any fresh softs for the race, but it is Spain, so I probably wouldn't use them anyway. That's a very respectable run from Mick on the used tyres. Why is everyone else so slow? He's faster than Ricciardo and Bottas, who typically run top 3-4. I don't know what it is about Bottas, by the way. I don't know why he's so good in the Aston. Like, Bottas in the Aston is weirdly better than Verstappen in the Mercedes, and I don't know why, usually. Like, I get having the gap on his teammate, because Bottas is 85 rated, his teammate's 70-something. I don't know why he's faster than the Mercs, usually. All 10 cars on track, though, for this Q3 shootout. We'll go off-board again, because we were on board last... I do apologise to Zay Maloney in this qualifying session. We didn't look at him ever. Mostly because Mick was always behind on the first runs. I presumed he was the one most in danger. Yep. It's happened again. But off Mick goes. Only Hauger and Bottas yet to start their flying laps. Only one driver ahead of us, everyone else behind. As actually, no, Piastri was already on a flying lap. He's gone even faster and made everyone's leader time go. Yeah, okay. The gap to the very front is very much a thing still, but I think more people were on. Was Piastri the only one on a flying lap? No, Verstappen and Russell are all done as well. The two Mercs, who clearly didn't improve, or if they did, they didn't change their positions. We might have a shot with Bottas. Mick faster first, slower middle was weird considering they're brand new tyres. But Bottas has had to get through both the Merc and Piastri here. How is Mick not gone faster? Oh no, I think he did by 2,000. Good work, Mick. Sainz corrects his poor first lap, goes second. It's realistically Ricciardo who is next. And I wonder if Bottas has an issue because he has to get through the other Merc as well. He's had to get through all three of the drivers who are on in laps. I suspect he'll still improve, but I don't know how much of a hindrance they were. Still a big hindrance, but he does go ahead. Like I say, he's usually been faster than the Mercs as Bottas. Although comparable times to his other 10th is a respectable start. To stop the order of the day, including a hard, which I feel like is going to be a problem. Yeah, none of the ones that actually start with, I don't know why they exist, frankly. You probably do the medium, you probably do the hard in the middle just to have something nicer at the end to work with. I am cautious of the undercut. I think that's best with selective pushing, whereas Zane does really get to do the aggressive. In fact, that last stint is even a medium 4 push. No, I'm tempted to just leave that as is. I don't see a reason to change that.
Well, it's great to have you with us, folks, as we settle in for the weekend's Grand Prix action. And here's George Russell, focusing on the race ahead of him.
Yeah, it's a P5 start. The podium's in sight, but there's a lot standing in their way.
So let's see what today has in store, shall we? One of the oldest races on the Formula One calendar. This is the Spanish Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Whoops. Just saw that one out for Zane. Apologies, Zane. Interesting start actually there from Ricciardo immediately. But one thing I forgot to pay attention to, and I've just remembered, Carlos Sainz was the pre-race VT focus, mixed down to 13th. What on earth are you doing? Carlos Sainz was the pre-race VT focus at Monaco, and he DNF'd in the end. We'll pay attention to George Russell in this race, as our drivers work together to ruin Porsche. Fittipaldi's joining that particular. So Mick has lost the place to Albon. We will watch the overtake on Porsche because he did get behind him here. Same was 11th at that point. 11, 12, 13, and then it's changed to 11 for Mick. At that point, it's 12th for Maloney, but then it comes 13th. It's very congested there. It's still 12th for Maloney, however. The RBs fighting each other will bring us back into that. Are we the only one on a medium in this patch? We are the only one on a medium in this patch. Bottas the only one to start on a used soft. Hauger bafflingly starting on a hard. I expect him to be the cork in this bottle for this race. Dress enable lap 2 will only be useful on the back straight, of course. Could well be worth letting Maloney through in this early stage. We'll give him a chance against Albon first. Dragovic has fallen to the back of the field. I think he's gone off at turn 4. Behind Norris, I presume that to be. Just goes for a wander and waits for everyone to pass. Which, in fairness, in that situation, is reasonable. We'll just give Mick one chance, really, to get past Albon here. I don't really want them making it awkward at the back of that. So if Maloney can do it here, sort of more naturally, maybe both of them, in fact. Albon does have DRS too, but we do have a good DRS, of course. In the end, neither of them make it. I'll pop the dirty air on just to see if it helps Maloney get past naturally without causing an incident. So far, not so good. But Albon is more than a second behind Bottas, so we could go for a 2-for-1 special on him. I say that, he's miles up the road still, but we still get DRS, which just allows us to close. Incidentally, I discovered the better way to do team orders. It obviously does still hurt confidence because it counts as an actual overtake, but it's to put one on don't defend and the other one on clean air. It's the more natural way of letting people overtake because it doesn't hurt them time-wise, as we nearly smash Albon off the road as Mick gets through. We'll watch that one at one times. I mostly want to watch the movement here afterwards. He's through, and then decides to really push Albon into the wall, which hopefully has compromised him well enough that Zane can do something over these next few corners. He's there, and he's through as well. Things are happening. I can see behind Porsche fighting Fittipaldi. That, I mean, sure. Please get more voice lines for Maloney, thank you very much. The problem is I don't think we're going to drop Albon. But only is more than a second behind Mick somehow. We need to focus on Mick because he has Hauger and Bottas, the hard-running Hauger. That's Mick into the points in these early phases. And Maloney did fend off Albon, who has problems of his own in the form of Fittipaldi. It's a train from Sonoda all the way to Porsche in 14th. And there's one train from Magnussen all the way back to Aaron, as Djokovic remains adrift. How badly did he hurt his tyres? Not that badly. Weird that he's so far adrift, actually. Mick, for some reason, seems to have the drive with DRS to have a look at Bottas. You're not going to make that work from there, mate. To be honest, with the hard-running Hauger behind, I feel like this is a good opportunity for Mick to just sort of hang on and recover fuel a bit. We might give Maloney a little bit longer just because he's got to get through Hauger first. That being said, we are past Bottas now anyway. Maloney remains behind Hauger, though, which is a bit awkward. Zero wiggle room on these tyres, unfortunately. Not that it's needed, because it would just shove Hauger off the track instead. I'm not sure that one's allowed, Zane. We're not getting penalised for it, but on the inside, Hauger... I mean, in fairness, Hauger could have slowed down a little bit more to avoid running wide, but I'm not sure you gave him racing room there, Zane. Giving Hauger underfloor damage for what feels like the third time this weekend. But as long as mixing DRS range of Verstappen, as it is at the front of this, with that Russell held onto the train in front, but Verstappen didn't, I kind of almost don't want to recover the fuel yet. As Zane once again fights Bottas behind, and Mick closes in on this fight between Verstappen and Sonoda, ex-Red Bull and wannabe Red Bull in this world. Is Verstappen a medium runner? That might be why. Sonoda forces Verstappen wide, but not to the degree that Hauger. So clearly that it was a one-off situation with Hauger then. It's not an automatic thing that the person on the outside gets shoved off the track there. Mick just about held on to DRS. Bottas is getting feisty again behind Mick, which I can't really blame him. Djokovic is ever so slightly closing the gap. I thought he was actually drifting, but he's gone from +8 to +6.5, so he's getting some time back, which you would expect from the Aston Martin. A lot of people in range of Sonoda here, but only Mick and Verstappen have a go, and unfortunately that opens up Mick to Bottas, but gets him back to the degree that actually Zane gets Bottas instead, and then has the drive on Mick for good measure. This is good movement. Bottas out of sorts after trying and failing to get Mick. Zane goes around the outside. Nearly catches Mick napping there a little bit. Stop doing that line, Zane. But we are going to have to deal with fuel at some point here. We did go under half the available laps we could have removed, so I think we've got some space. Typically that means we probably only have to kind of recover for sort of half of the race. Really don't want our drivers to fight here, but then if Zane gets through, don't fight and conserve. Just be sensible here, Mick. The problem, of course, is when you're in trains like this, putting on don't fight does open you up for overtakes because you have to back out of moves, usually. The good news is Zane is trying and failing, admittedly, ahead, but at least he's trying. In fact, I might just stick him on conserve now as well, just because I don't want him to drop Mick. Bottas is getting a little too interested for my liking. And plus, his tyres will go off at some point, so I need to pay attention to that. In fact, I probably have to go light at some stage here. Sonoda was dropped by Verstappen, and now Zane gets through. Early pitters in Gasly and Magnussen. Only wants to do so far. In fairness, we do have space to pit early with Zane if we wanted to, because we could always just obviously not do that last stint entirely on 4. I'm sorry, Bottas got Mick. I wasn't paying attention behind. Mick didn't have DRS because Zane got ahead. That's fine. That's fine. Mick can hold on to that, I think. Mick's still 10th. It's still a point for him. I think what we'll do is, rather than conserve the tyres to get to the lap that we want to get to with Zane, we just pit on the lap when his tyres would go under 30%. As Mick does get Bottas back, so well done. Mick, well done. Actually, the recovery rate once you're conserving seems to be quite good. So maybe we don't need to panic at all, because it's already gone down a kilogram. And we're staying in this train quite nicely. Verstappen's left us. Oh, Bottas pitted early. Oh, Sonoda's pitted this lap. We need to go now. Okay, we should still get the optimum lap, actually, with Zane. Mick's confidence is low, despite the fact he's up to 6th. Oh, this isn't going to be great either, because he's coming out ahead of only Leclerc, admittedly. That will probably get him back immediately. Good news is you can at least attack these. Oh, he's still got overtaken. Mick comes out immediately behind Bottas, but he's also on a hard tyre, so... Is Albon on a soft again? No, it's a medium for him. Albon on soft medium? Parker started on a hard and has gone onto a medium and has come out 13th, so he pitted earlier off the hard, which is odd. Yeah, Porsche is going to be interested in Mick just because Mick's obviously slow with his hard tyres now. Useful person for Mick to follow, really. So with pit stops complete, I think realistically we've come out quite well here. We can't really ditch Hauger, unfortunately. as things stand. In fact, he ditches us. Briefly. Oh, Fittipaldi hadn't pitted yet. Multiple cars crashed. Only yellow flag so far. It is George on Bottas, I presume? That's your fault, George. Yes, and Maloney still has Hauger for company, which isn't great. I mean, if a penalty's handed out for that, it should be Russell's. Have people just pitted a second time there? I think Fittipaldi's doing a 3-stop. I never actually considered that with Mick. More crashes. This one's clearly Gasly. Oh no, that's just a fault. I don't know who's involved in this, but it's just a yellow flag again, it seems. What's the yellow flag for? It's the same people at the same corner doing exactly the same thing. George, learn from your mistakes. For the love of God, George. The definition of insanity right there. Come off that for the time being. Kind of want to make sure we drop people if we can. Or share pits again. Hamilton is in range of Mick. I don't know where this has come from Hamilton, but doesn't seem to have enough to get... Oh, he has just got past. I was trying to say, doesn't seem to have enough to get past in that Williams, but is making it interesting now. Unfortunately, it's ruining Mick's confidence in the process. Right, so Porsche comes back through. How are we doing on tyres on both of them? Both are on track. Mick can probably actually push a little bit from here. Just to hopefully maybe get his confidence up a little bit. Yeah, confidence is way down. It's a little bit difficult to get a full picture of this race just because everyone's all over the place. So Mick is within 3 laps. So I don't think... we're nowhere near being lapped. Although Mick could end up. Leclerc and Piastri are about to pit again as well, though. So obviously Mick's taken the hurt right now by using a hard tyre. Zane has DRS here on Fittipaldi. This could get interesting, as there is a lapped car involved in this that really needs to get gone. We'll give Zane the opportunity, as actually Fittipaldi comes in the pits. We'll let Hauger get hounded by the Sauber for no explicable reason. And pop back off DRS push there, just so we can get Hauger well out of rate. Hauger is actually literally fighting the Sauber, which is costing him so much time. Thank you very much. I appreciate you doing that. Both Saubers now serious mechanical faults. Is this optimal lap now? Back onto the medium you go, Mick. Might come out quite nicely ahead of Hulkenberg. Oh no, actually, what's going on there? What happened to that interval? Why did that interval just go from 21 seconds to 16? So both drivers technically coming in on the same lap, but they're half a lap apart. Also need to conserve the fuel now, because we've not had an incident yet. Zane's in completely free air as things stand. Reasonable stop. Does bring him back out in line with Hamilton, but ahead of him. Hamilton's on hards. We'll attack these on the outset. And deploy, actually, as well, just to make sure he gets... Oh, brilliant stuff for Zane Maloney there. Wait, is that a lapping situation for Mick? Who is that? That is Leclerc, and everyone has pitted a second time now. So we're good on fuel, then. Because there's 3 drivers ahead that are... 9 laps to go. Mick's here. Zane, however, is obviously a lot further on track. So we'll need to get all of the fuel back. We have driven away from the Ferrari, admittedly, because we've been deploying. The Ferrari through. Good work. Maybe capitalise on the Ferrari getting Magnussen. We will do, I think. Magnussen's tyres are shot, incidentally, so it was imperative that we got through there. Mick's found a train. Admittedly, Albon's in this train as well, so we're not the only ones to suffer from this. Now attack. Now deploy Mick. Hamilton is detached. We need to then get Norris ahead. Ronnie's outside the points, irritatingly, but Piastri could destroy himself. I thought Mick had done the fastest lap there. It was Norris ahead of him in the Alpine. Of course, game, of course. Right, this little push period from Hamilton is really irritating because I can't drop him. Get him out the side the second, which will allow Albon through, unfortunately. But Gasly's done for, but I presume that's ERS because he's still driving. Djokovic has appeared as well for good measure. Forgot to unreserve on Maloney there, who's now 10th. Sonoda fell into his clutches. I thought Zane was a comfortable 11th here. Sonoda's on hard tyres. Interesting. I wasn't really reporting on Zane because he was just depressingly 11th and I didn't really want to look at it, frankly. But Sonoda's appeared and then drifted away, so that's good news. Of course, Maloney is doing this entire stint on aggression, which is probably helping things in that respect lap-wise. Might catch tyre running outing softs as well, if he's lucky. You're a lap down. You're fine, Hugh. Don't worry about it. There are 4 drivers ahead of you that have lapped him. A little depressing that Mick was in a train with Verstappen and is only now about 6 or 7 seconds away from being lapped by him by the end of the race. Just shows you how well his race has gone from that point onwards. Zane might run out of fuel. Zane might run out of fuel by the end of this race. However, Sainz is the one that started the lap and he's well over a lap ahead. So we might just get this back again. Actually, is Zane lapped? No, that's Fittipaldi. Please get this back, Zane. Please get this back. Oh, he's got it back. Albon 15th is interesting. Does kind of indicate this entire pack now is entirely dependent on strategy and luck. Because for some reason, Mick got massively slower than Zayn over the course of that race.
Drivers.
Sainz, Leclerc, Ricardo, and Zayn with another point. Doesn't really help anyone or change anything. Zayn's 2.26 was actually still only the 7th best pit stop. That's ridiculous. But chipping away with points. Happy pulling gets better. Spain had a feature race as well. Olivier Carpentier qualified 4th, finished 3rd. Bogdanovic, not quite so good there, unfortunately. And 2nd in the sprint as well. A good haul for Carpentier this particular weekend. Chloe Chambers gets points in F3. Not one of ours, but has been typically flagging towards the back, unfortunately. And indeed, has a very good race. Barnard does slip to 3rd as a result of that. And Chloe Chambers' haul does get her up to 12th. Like I say, she wasn't doing superbly well before that. Pulling still only the 2 points. Bogdanovic slips to 8th himself in that championship. The Tridents are 1 and 2. And that haul for 23 points for Carpentier takes him up 4 places to 11th. I feel it's doing things. Right then, Canada time. We are set up. Ignore, obviously, the overall ranking at the top here, but that's the way things look in general. Kind of middling of the pack in terms of just overall cornering. DRS effectiveness remains 7th. We are still there or thereabouts, and preservation and engine cooling, dirty air tolerance we're terrible at, as is top speed. So we're kind of keeping pace, really, this season, I think, is more where we're at. Next season, we'll probably be able to make an advantage and improving things like the suspension simulator and the other one that's actually good. The design is pretty solid. Apparently, we're 18th in Canada because it is low-speed cornering, which we're 11th in. I presume it's connected to top speed and acceleration because you don't no longer actually see acceleration on here for some reason, but it does exist as an attribute. Respectable first laps and a clean track for their flying laps. This could go well. I mean, even pushing the tyres from the beginning of the lap hasn't got them up to temperature for Mick. I don't know what it is about Mick that makes him cooler on his tyres. I don't know which attribute affects that. Some people just putting some breathing room in. Some people just on a lap, I feel like, can't quite identify them, but neither driver improved. Cool. So glad we did this. The good news is no one behind us did either. Why does Zayn Maloney have a penalty? I have no idea what that's for. Practice was clean. No one crashed at all, as far as I'm aware. I always feel like it's worthwhile just to knock off the engine parts while we're at it. Since we've already got a penalty. I won't do it now, obviously. I'll do it for the race, but I'll see where we actually qualify. How bizarre. Albon's done for, by the way. He did a lap way out of sync of everyone else and has just finished it. As pretty much everyone else is starting an outlap. No idea what's going on with them this week. Because Tsunoda's there with him. That's a Ferrari. Hello. I'm pretty sure the Ferrari's just gone in to the pits as well, which should be Hauger. This is unhelpful for Mick. Don't fight him. So Mick's out then. And Maloney's going slow on fresh tyres anyway, so clear out doesn't matter. I can only hope that the impedance that the Mercedes caused Mick in the first place will be cancelled out by the tow that it gives now. What is Maloney doing? How are you going slower on brand new tyres? Did do a faster middle sector. Both RBs and Norris are done, as is Porsche. Unless Maloney's put out a worldie in sector 3, I have no idea. It was Max Verstappen. Mick does improve, but not enough to get any places. Bottas is done. This is irritating. Maloney's in Q3 and I don't want him to be. His time is so far off all the others. I don't think it's even worth running him and then save the soft tyres for the race. I don't know what the penalty is and I don't know how big it is. I'm not even going to run him. Actually, no. I'll tell you what. We're running once in the middle on a used set. We might as well put a lap in. He says not actually doing a lap. What are you doing? Actually do the lap, you moron. Actually gets 9th. Like he did an out lap and then an in lap. No actual flying lap. Why did it do it again? It happened to Mick last season. In Miami, I think it was. Might have been Miami this season, actually. Time's weird. Why? So it's 5 place. Oh, okay. If it's this is what I was thinking. If it was a 3 place, I wouldn't bother. But because it's a 5 place and he's behind Mick anyway, I actually put in the brand new engine for qualifying, which means I could technically take a brand new part in all 3 sections. Because I think I have the money for it. Yeah, I do. I have just enough money for it. Just knock out this inevitability now. I'm almost certain a 2-stop is always better here. Yeah, it is. By miles. Zayn's so good on his tyres, he can do it all on 5, which is wild. 125.24 for Zayn. 125.38. That's the difference in smoothness and the ability to push those tyres.
Welcome back, everyone. The final preparations are now being made as we head into the race. Amidst the noise and fanfare of the occasion, a crucial moment now to concentrate.
We witnessed some incredible feats in Formula 1, but surely getting something from this P22 start is asking too much.
And it looks like we're good to go. This is it. We're moments away now at the Canadian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Zane's penalty does actually put Paul Scherer into 10th to start this race. Mick on the inside of Bottas, or outside, becomes inside. Could be a good position. And he does solidify that. The two RBs fighting each other behind in 13th, 14th. Meanwhile, Zane's already up 2 places off the start, claiming Aaron and Sargent. Slightly trickier customer in Hamilton next, though. But Mick can go hunting for Paul Scherer. Both drivers on the same strategy, actually, basically, but Melody can just go more aggressive. Sonoda challenging Bottas behind and catching him very nappy. No, Bottas just on a medium. Leclerc, Piastri and Hauger on a hard again. Norris on a hard as well. Could be the cork in the back here. Melody is on the inside of Lewis Hamilton going into turn 1. Put him on the outside, but does have the drive to continue that one off, which means Magnussen next. It's a good move. Terrible angle to watch it from, really. Well, in case you're wondering, these lines, I assume they come from the real sponsors pack and they're just artifacts for some reason. Not really much I can do about them. Renee's got Magnussen here. Couldn't really see it. It was too far in the distance, but he's going to actually lose the position. But stick it up the inside of the chicane. Hairpin, sorry. I know my terminology. Stick it up at the inside of the hairpin and then drive away, following Hulkenberg, who's up at a lofty 17th, frankly, for him right now. It's great work. Meanwhile, Mix has Porsche past the wall of champions and then maintains the DRS to drive away from him. Into the... I mean, they're all on slick tyres. I should have watched that one back. I didn't really see it. But, okay, so no ERS now. Everyone else, in theory, should go off. Oh, Maloney got Hulkenberg as well.
Nice job.
I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention to Mick. I didn't think he'd get Russell. But he got Russell. Lovely. I appreciate that from Mick. Well done, mate. Slightly no more pushing on this fuel.
It's just increased the...
Unfortunately, Mick is adrift of Drogovic. So this fight with Russell is a bit awkward because it's put him in instant reclaimable territory. And Russell will be ahead before we even get to the turn, frankly. But hopefully that helps split the difference between Russell and Drogovic, that we can just make this one train instead of two and drag ourselves along. The fact that Maloney's recovered essentially already back up to 16th if he gets Gasly here, and does, on lap 4, vindicates the decision. Norris is actually not in DRS here, so this should be 50th. This absolutely vindicates the decision to... What is Norris doing? That's illegal. That was 2 moves. Sod off, Norris. You're on hards, mate. Sod off. How are you even competing on those? An early fault from Fittipaldi does start relatively high by his standards. That's irritating. He's on hard, Zane. What are you doing? Just going to try driving clean air, see if it gives him a better run in DRS zones. Effectively preloading a line to attack them on. All right, so Maloney's ahead of Norris this time on the main straight. That's the important thing. So that he now drives away. Who's hurt themselves? What are we approaching? Dennis Hauger. Oh, Mick's there. Don't be involved, Mick, please. Oh, thank God for that. Everyone stops. Mick, get him. Get him, Mick. He limped out of that corner, Mick. Get him. I suppose it would have been a yellow flag, but stay behind at the detection point, which I think is there. Go around the outside of Dennis Hauger on a hard, and then drive away. Plan. Executed. Mick, don't look at the board. I love that Hugo says car in front is Max because obviously he's Checo's race engineer, so he's used to first naming him. Problem is, Mick is now a sitting duck for both drivers, but what is going on with Bottas this weekend? After hyping him up, oh, he has no gearbox. That might be a reason. Interesting that whatever manufacturer Aston Martin using, because they're not limited to staying on the one they start with, whichever engine manufacturer they're with right now has very good gearbox thresholds. Because that's not gone orange, yellow. It hasn't even gone yellow at 20%. It's obviously not good, but it's not gone dangerous. Mick? I mean, you're going to get taken eventually here, but I'm surprised you didn't just get all of the drivers driving past you there. Right. Unfortunately, neither driver's in clear air. I need to get in clean air just to... He's done it again, by the way. He's behind at the detection point, ahead by the deployment point, and just driving off again. Can you deploy from here, Mick? I don't know if this is going to help. The detection point's really early. Oh! 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 What's Piastri done? That's all right. Just push him out of the way, Mick. That's fine. Maloney's overtaking Porsche. That's not the highlight I wanted. Is there an incident? What's Piastri done? Good move, actually, considering. Yeah, considering actually it was the penalty that put Porsche in the top 10 to begin with. The fact he's now ahead of him again is incredible. What on earth has happened to Piastri? Tyre wear was fine, so whatever it was didn't happen before this lap. He will limp back to the pits, I think, but I get the overtake, which we saw live, really. Who did he lose position to? Oh, Porsche came back. Mick is 5th. I don't want to alarm anyone, but Mick is 5th. And he's got a gap on Fittipaldi. Okay, what's Hulkenberg done? Turn 1. Hulkenberg's just smashed Magnussen. Why did you leave me, Kevin? Fittipaldi back in range, unfortunately, this lap. I just need someone to be in clean air, really, just then actually to get the fuel back on them. I need Mick to be able to stay out of a second. Oh, he has stayed out of a second on Hauger. In fact, he's... Oh, there's a safety car. That's Tsunoda and Porsche. Well, I mean, obviously. We were in the best position possible here, frankly. Magnussen actually smashed his... A few people at the back actually absolutely destroyed their softs as well. Verstappen and Fittipaldi were holding on to theirs for whatever reason. But obviously we go on to mediums now. I tell you what, you can still do it, can Mick. It's 5 seconds faster. It's obviously 5 seconds slower just in terms of raw pace. But you're going to get pitched up under a safety car. Now, the situation is a little bit trickier with... Which one would I prefer? Because it's a lot slower, but he's getting a pit stop benefit earlier. It is a double stack, but they're far enough apart. I'll actually remember to click the crash this time, which I seem to avoid a lot. It's a shame for Porsche, but I suspect he's the one that's at fault here. Yep, that's an assassination. Zane, behind them, is like, oh, goodbye, guys. Well, it's 2 less overtakes Zane needs to make, or actually bring Zane into 10th, incredibly. Everyone pits as well. Everyone pits, including people on hard tyres. What on earth is going on here? Okay, so there might be some shenanigans with waiting just because... Mind you, we're not at the very end anymore, but the only people ahead of us are the people behind us in the pit lane. 2.3, we get out quite quickly there, actually. That's good news. Not only in, but being held. Let him out! For the love of God, let him out! I don't know if there was an issue. So this might be down to the tyre change. So there's an actual issue with the rear left, which I think is what then causes problems. It's a knock-on effect. I don't know why we can't see Maloney. What on earth is this camera angle? There we go. So he's lost his top 10 position, and we've gained absolutely nothing because of that pit stop, because everyone's pitted. The good news, though, is that we don't need to recover fuel now because of a safety car. That will do the recovery that we should have done in this early phase for us. And Piastri's still at the back. Now, curiously, Russell and Drugovich are on hard tyres behind. I am fascinated to know what their strategy is, because I think you might be able to get to the end on a hard tyre, such as the Canada tyre wear, but I cannot believe that is what they're trying to do. Of course, actually, just being in a safety car will preserve the tyres a little bit longer anyway. Make sure they get recharged. We've only just caught up, but it's actually ending. Okay, great. That's helpful. I might not actually push the fuel on the restart, because we didn't get as much of a safety car recuperation than as I thought. We only got about 1 kilogram. That's a bit of a shame that we've not gone around one more time. But it's Ricciardo who leads from Sainz and Leclerc, Verstappen, then Mick, Drugovich, I can't believe it, then Russell, Fittipaldi, Hauger, Bottas, top 10, Albon outside on a hard time, Maloney on a soft medium, Hamilton, Norris, Sargent, Magnussen, Gasly, Aaron, Hulkenberg, Piastri at the back because of his earlier puncture that I still don't know what happened. I wish I could see a full replay of that, but alas. Is Mick still on driving clean now? I'll take him off for the time being. Just because we're at the start again here. Just keep in range by the time DRS's start, really, is the main thing here. Maloney's already got Albon, actually. That hard-running Albon I did wonder if he'd have a problem off the restart. Already compromised, and Hamilton might get him as well if he's not careful. Maloney desperate to get that P10 back. I mean, it's still a great recovery already. Losing out in the pit stops wasn't nice. Definitely the right decision to take the full suite of penalties off the back of having just won. I might push his fuel, actually, just to make sure he does catch. Okay, that's sorted out. I believe, yeah, you're on a 5-star, you're on a 4, aren't you, Mick, after this? So I'll let Mick push again for one more lap, but Maloney's just good to go in this stint. Mick loses Verstappen instantly, because of course he does. Hard runners behind Mick, though, so they shouldn't be that feisty, in all honesty. Be behind at the detection point, Mick, that really helps. Yeah, let Drugovich take you now, and then get back past him. At least his confidence is high. There is another incident. It is Hamilton. He's back on track, though. Just a lock-up. I was hoping DRS slingshot might have gotten back into Verstappen's DRS, but they're all being dragged along by the McLaren at the front. So annoyingly, this peak driver performance is actually going to be a problem, eventually. I don't know how Maloney isn't in peak performance, considering he's gone from the back to 11th. Ridiculous, frankly. Holds up Drugovich for now. That won't stay. That won't stay, though. There will be a faster driver in that batch that will get through. That's actually Maloney at the back of the train. That starts with Mick. Verstappen has a mechanical fault. Now's the time to get it, Max. Thank you. Please slow down. In fact, he's already lost half a second there. Piastri has a mechanical fault now, and he's actually up 2 places. Yeah, we can't do much about this. Right, we have to hope Verstappen's mechanical fault drags him out of the DRS range of Leclerc. So far, not so good in that respect. I almost need you, Mick, actually. Just stay behind... I'm looking at the wrong person. Stay behind Drogovic. Fittipaldi's got past, actually, now. That's not great news. Just bring it back down to aggressive. I'm not quite sure why Fittipaldi got you there. He's on a hard tyre as well. Oh, no, he's on a medium. Sorry, it was Russell that was on the hard. So, actually, yeah, let Fittipaldi get to the front of this and drag us all along. Because he's not going to have the speed differential. This is perfect news for Mick in terms of positioning. 7th is nice. Because it allows them to fight ahead. Don't get involved in it. Recover a little bit of fuel while they're doing that. It's Bottas ahead of Maloney, which is the cork in that bot. Actually, Maloney's at the back of this. You get some recovery as well. In fact, are you even in a second, Maloney? Just. Okay, yeah, you're fine. Can I get you to drive in... Oh, not a high risk. Can I get you to drive in clean air again, Mick? Maybe help the temperatures a smidge? Drogovic now has a fault. It's still one train, though, from Fittipaldi now to... Oh, Max, crucially, out of DRS. But it is one train from Fittipaldi to Maloney once again. Piastri working his way through the field, unfortunately. He's up to 14th now. It's only lap 22. That safety car saved him because he was so far behind because of the puncture. Although his fault has just got worse. That might actually hold his progress, and seemingly it has done. It's not a great day for... Oh, dear. Hang on a second. Mick, what's going on here, mate? Why are you... Mick can definitely go forwards here. Djokovic's fault has sorted itself out, incidentally. Go on, Mick. You can do this. I believe in you. There we go. Now try and drive away from Djokovic a little bit. Try and get Maloney past him. Got a little bit of wiggle room on those tyres. Go for it. Maloney does have DRS, though. And hopefully you can utilise it to get past Drogovic. No, that's Bottas, actually. It's gone the other way around. What? Why are you behind? Mick got Russell. Get him back, Zane. What are you doing, you muppet? Pressure Maloney. Maloney, please, please pressure Drogovic. No more deployment, thank you very much. That'll do us nicely. Who pits first instantly? Lap 41. Well, we don't need to actually pit him instantly there. But it will be Maloney who pits first. I'm going to have to actually let him through. He's outside of a second. There's no point dragging him along. Mixed confidence isn't great, but it can take the hit for the benefit of Maloney's. I need you to get past naturally. So let's try rarely defend, driving clean air. Russell has a mechanical fault now, just for good measure. Right, and now actually defend. And you are now behind, so don't fight him. Let him deploy from there just to help drag you along. Verstappen's fault's got worse. Both Mercs struggling. Mick, what are you doing? I said don't fight, you moron. Oh, Albon's just had a thwack, I think. Just a lock up. Okay, stop deploying now because you might drop Mick if you're not careful. This could be the conservation period for Mick here, actually. That might work out nicely for him. Mick doesn't need some ERS of his own, so let's get that back while we're at it. I'm really hoping Russell's fault actually drags him into Maloney here, but doesn't seem to be happening. Stop fighting him! Stop driving in clean air as well, Maloney. Just realised. Can we please... Let's watch this. Frontier, sort it out. Don't fight teammate means don't even attempt an overtake. And because he's attempted an overtake, he's actually compromised Maloney and cost him 2 places. Somehow there. Wild. Absolutely wild. Now Djokovic is ahead again. Right, thank you, Mick. He was actually still on don't fight teammate, so he got pushed behind. It's not your fault, Mick. It's the games. I think we've just gone past the... No, we haven't gone past it. In fact, actually, I might still do this on this lap. Because it's a lap where he'll hit 40, so... Mick has Norris for company, all of a sudden, on good mediums. Meanwhile, Maloney is fending off Hulkenberg. Let's see if you can get away from that. Good work, mate. Now conserve that little bit of fuel while you're in clean air. Bottas comes out with you. Any advance on the yellow flag? It is good for the sponsors, is what I'll say there. Good for their sponsors. Oh, somehow he's the other way around now. Not a safety car, unfortunately. So, we did undercut Bottas with Maloney. Essentially, just got the overtake. I say undercut. We still came on behind him, but we were in DRS now, which is great news. And Bottas has gone on to another soft. Wait, why was Gasly at fault for Paul Aron smashing him up the backside? Another incident. Hamilton this time, but it's Maloney through Verstappen as well for good measure. Was to stop us conserving fuel temporarily. A heavily compromised Verstappen with mechanical parts, but it is Zane into 9th. Also a bad day for RB as well, so the more points we can get now... Alright, let's tone it down. With Tsunoda out and Albon 15th and not doing well, Maloney can't really shift Verstappen even though he's got that engine fault. That being said, Maloney I think is inching closer to the drivers ahead. Namely Norris, who I don't know has pitted off those mediums yet. He hasn't. Going on to a late soft, I imagine. It's working well for his confidence. Wow, it's working real well for his confidence. 100 out of 100 quartering. No wonder he's having a better race than Mika's thing stand. Makes fending off Sargent, who's on the hard. Actually, he's getting past him, I think is what's happened there. Yeah. Deploy away from him now, Mick. Just get rid of him. Thank you very much. And Sergeant holds up Albon. Perfect. Sorry, Maloney gets Russell, who's also very wounded. Who's that in front? Is that Paul Aaron? Is that a lapping that we're going to be considering soon? Slightly annoyed that as he's got better in this race, he's apparently ditched the humble quote line that he's got. I think that was Paul Aaron. All right, with the gap to Albon, I think Mick can conserve fuel. Bottas is in range of Maloney, however. We've only got to get 0.8, so the gap is closing to Djokovic, who now pits. That explains that then. Currently behind Bottas and just in DRS range, so I might start conserving. Still gets past him. All right, so Mick's sorted and in 10th. Oh, Albon actually caught Mick. Okay. I suspect he's not on peak. Oh, he's still on peak. I would have thought the back and forth with Bottas would have caused more of a problem, but no. Now it's on brand new softs. I could do with Mick going forwards here. Give Mick a couple of laps of absolute attack mode, maybe? Nope. Get him into Albon's DRS range. Bring him back down to aggressive. Push his fuel. And maybe Mick can steal a point here. Irritatingly, that is Sainz right behind. So actually, we might be fine on the fuel regardless now because we're about to be lapped by Sainz and Leclerc. So new DRS for Albon this particular lap. Hopefully, this is the lap where those front runners catch up and lap us. Maloney, however, no such worries of being lapped. Is seemingly in a race of his own now. Djokovic may and will... 5 seconds, actually. He may not catch. Just a reminder, he started at the back, and the only times we had are Sonoda and Porsche. Sonoda's really the only one that's usually in front of us. Oh, Piastri, of course. That was the thing. 1 lap to go, and we're being lapped. Let's put Norris right on our tail, but we'll get the DRS off the Ferrari here. It puts us both past Albon. So ideally, I want... There's the detection point, I think. Oh, no, the detection point is way behind, isn't it? Ideally, I wanted to be behind Albon, but this time around, we've actually got Norris ahead. Stay in his DRS, Mick. Please, for the love of God, stay in his DRS. Oh, Djokovic hasn't closed at all. They're just starting final lap. It's fine, we've been lapped, it's okay. Unless Sainz and Leclerc crash out, then we've got another lap anyway, because we'll unlap ourselves. Mick, I need you to deploy. Now, I need you to use everything. Oh, he's 9 inside a second. Mick's 11th. Might as well just deploy from here, Zane. No reason to go fuss. Djokovic still 3 seconds behind. His teammate behind him as well, pressuring him. I can't believe Gasly got a penalty for being driven into. That's still the craziest part of all of this. But no points for RB, crucially as well. Nothing for Albon there. I'm glad Norris got a point. I think that actually gives Alpine a point as well in their fight for the first time. Porsche got 1 and now Norris has got 1. Annoyingly, Mick still doesn't have 1. But that, I believe, is 6 points for Zane. That's it. Focus on Albon, who got no points. Never mind Zane, who's gone from 22nd. The pre-race VT curse is broken. They focused on Zane and that, saying he can't... Mind you, suppose they... Does the pre-race curse invert? Because they said it'll be unlikely he'll be able to do anything from there. And now he's got 6th. It's 8 points, in fact. I apparently didn't know my point system. Which actually brings him into 10th in the championship, ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, randomly. Now, the RB is on 11 and 9. They're competitive with each other. And more than Djokovic, which is wild, who actually got 6 points here. But Norris gets 1 more point. He was still ahead of Mick anyway. Alpine get Haas on countback. Williams and Sauber now the only teams without a point. And we go to 13. Like I say, if we start getting these upgrades, I think we can get RB. And we're already only 7 points behind. That's the fight, because let's be honest, that's a gap. And Mick's pit stop, I didn't see it, was good. 10 points, just holding firm mid-table. That, I believe, is our best result to date. And, to boot, Zane Maloney, 83. Rewarded for his efforts. Little weird that Mick's still not growing. Driver's confidence and race performance is reduced due to the lack of Hugh Bird affinity. I did wonder about that. So that's why his confidence brackets are way worse than Zane's now. But obviously, while we've got Super Zane with enthusiastic, we have to make the most of it. So Design Centre is refurbished, which will help things going forward, of course. Car Part Test Centre was already up to level 2, so these two are now going to help things going forward. Wind Tunnel has got to 50%, but we don't really care about it. So a 34% effectiveness because of the other stuff that we're doing with sponsors as well. So I need to give myself the money back from those engine parts. Never upgrade it, but do refurbish it, maybe. It's only 1.5 million. We'll refurbish it from there, I think. That's fine. Affiliates again. Good work from Abby there. Up to 61. Cup and TA. I did actually use Begovic in the practice 1 of Canada. His defending has gone up. His smoothness has gone up. Adaptability up quite dramatically for Carpentier. 2 points. Control as well. And Barnard gets adaptability 2. Did they have a race there? I don't think they did they? Doesn't look like it. So as we roll into Austria next episode, we are now well and truly on the board. A very positive episode where we scored points in all 3 races. Thanks to Zane. Mick, I know you're being hampered by the game somewhat, in how A, you're originally just underrated in the first place, and B, your affinity, of course, that's on me with Hugh Bird. That one's on me. So yeah, I think with better affinity and better confidence thresholds to begin with, I think Mick might have actually had the confidence boosts in that race that would have been more befitting and got him that 10th place. Unfortunately, as is, all we did, thankfully, was prevent Albon getting another one. But for now, thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, I mean, I certainly have. Do like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Bye now. Until next time, ta-ra.